So there's been a lot of surprises in League One this season, but the league is just starting to take shape now. So you go have a look at the promotion battle to start with. Obviously Lincoln already up, 93 points, absolutely run away with the league. Massive well done to them. They've absolutely blitzed this league with no trouble whatsoever this season. Really impressive style of play as well. The pressing football, particularly how good they've been on the set pieces. Teams have just not been able to play against it. No one's had the answers to it this season in this league. The long throws as well, and I thought they played Chelsea and played really well. Pushed us all the way in the early rounds of the League Cup back in September. They actually went 1-0 up, and we only just went through in the end. But they've given us a lot of trouble, particularly with the set pieces on that day. And they had started the season well, and then I did think from that moment onwards, they could have a really good season in League One, and they had. And not a lot of people picked them would have picked them as the winners at the start of the season. I think some people had them as a team that could challenge for the playoffs, but I don't know. They did go under the radar. They showed massive improvement this season on the previous season, so I think they deserve all the credit. And it was a two-horse race for the league for a while. Them and Cardiff have both pulled clear with level on points, but when they played each other, Lincoln won comfortably. And since then, it's been all Lincoln. They've pulled away from them as well. Are 11 points clear of them. Cardiff have had a bit of a blip since that game, because before the form was sort of identical, but that was the game where Lincoln really took charge of this division. Cardiff are not yet over the line. Well, they are basically over the line. If mathematically they're not over the line, but that late equaliser at Huddersfield last night has all but secured their promotion, so they will join them now. No one else has quite had the consistency to challenge either of those two though this season. So Lincoln and Cardiff very much looking like they're going to go up, but teams that no doubt I think will win the playoffs at this stage. You've got Bradford, Bolton, and Stockport. Bolton third at the moment, massive 5-1 win against Stevenage last night, but they've had some very good individual performances and a very good season overall, but just not the consistency of the top two. But they'll be in the playoffs now, so I'm the same to be said for Bradford. But Bradford, I think what's been impressive about them is how they've come up, and this is their first season back in League One after a long time away from it, and they've challenged for promotion. They've fallen short of the top two, but to be in the playoffs, which they surely will be now, is an incredible first season back. As well, so them two look like they'll be in there. You've got Stockport fifth with those games in hand, which won't mean much in challenging for the top two. Now, will they finish third, fourth, fifth? They'll be somewhere in that stretch, no doubt. I think they should be over the line now. I think with those games in hand and with the form they're on, I think they would have enough to secure the playoff place now. Stockport, but the sixth, I think those three are in. But I think this is where the main focus is going to be on the remainder of the season in League One over the last couple of weeks. This is where things could really still turn on its head. This is where everything's still to play for. That final playoff place, who finishes sixth, or who will get in the playoffs out of those. Quite a lot of teams still battling for it. I mean, it goes down to maybe, I would sort of say, up until a couple of weeks ago, it went down further. But I mean, Wycombe are 11th, and their form. They were in the playoffs last season. Their form recently has sort of taken a bit of a hit after what has been a good season. They look like they could be in the playoffs again, but after the recent form, that's looking less likely. They've fallen away a bit. And 10th, you've got Luton, and Luton are really going in the right direction. They've not the season people thought they would have. They've not come back up like people thought they would with ease. They've not, they have found it a lot more difficult than a lot of people thought they would in this division. But their form has turned around. Their 4 out of the last 5 games they've won. Has this turnaround come too late? Time will tell. But we've got a game in hand as well, which could be massive. They could still challenge in these remaining weeks, and they're on such good form now at the moment. They've got the momentum from the EFL Trophy win against Stockport as well, which is a very good day for them. They could really maybe take the momentum into the remainder of the season with the form they're on and secure the playoff place and maybe still do it. So still a good chance for them. Plymouth have turned it around massively. They're in a relegation battle, but they have had a fantastic run recently, which has got them into a position where playoff place is likely. It's a possibility again. Again, the form they're on, I think they've got a real chance as well. Stevenage, currently 6th. Big win over Bradford at the weekend, but that 5-1 win 5-1 defeat against Bolton last night just puts a bit of a cast of doubt over it. That said, though, fantastic season. They've been sort of consistently improving over the last couple of years since they've reached this division. I think that this could be the time for them to push on and get in the playoffs. But they've got going to have a real battle over the last few games. They've got 3 games remaining. Some teams have games in hand. So will they be able to hold on to 6th place? I think that's what the question is now. Are the teams below them on good enough form to overtake them? It's going to be very tight. You've got Reading as well. Reading up till recently looked like they were a strong contender for 6th. They're in 9th at the moment, Plymouth in 8th. But Reading have had 2 back-to-back defeats, which has sort of hurt their chances a bit. But then again, though, it's so tight at the moment. If they were to recover the form over the next couple of games, one more win, it could be looking very good again. So again, you can't really read too much into 1 or 2 results, but certainly trending in the wrong direction. They do need to win the next game. You feel ready. As for Huddersfield, 7th. Huddersfield is a strange one. A lot of people thought they would, myself included, thought they'd come back up this year. They'll be one of the teams that would be right up there. But it's not been as smooth as maybe it could have been. But they're still in with a chance because they started quite well this season, and then for most of the season it looked like they was going to be in the playoffs. And then they had a bit of a bad run recently, a lot of draws, and then they found themselves in a position where it looked less likely. They have recovered a bit recently, though. Were winning against Cardiff for most of the game last night. Cardiff equalised right at the end, which has hurt the chances a bit, Huddersfield, but they're still right in the mix. And over the remainder of the season, if they could show up over these last few games, there's every chance they could do it. At this moment, if you're looking at the current form, although these are in the chasing pack, these 2 are a bit lower. At the moment, Plymouth and Luton, I think, are very strong contenders to go on and get 6th, simply because they're on much better form, I think, than everyone else in that mix, and they do seem to be sort of headed in the right direction, both of them 2. So I think it's definitely worth looking out for both of them 2. But Stevenage have been good recently, apart from that result last night. If that can just be a one-off and they could put it behind them, then they could do it. They could definitely be a strong contender as well. I just think I'm not sure yet how much that result will affect them over the remainder of the season. The confidence, the momentum, the fact that Bolton will be a potential playoff opponent as well could be a real psychological, struggle going into the remainder of the season. But that's where it's at the moment in terms of that top 6. This is where it's all to play for at the top. Down at the bottom, again, a lot of teams involved in the relegation battle for a lot of the season. Again, that's starting to take shape now as well. We have Northampton already relegated. They've had a really poor second half of the season, really bad run recently as well. I think they've had 5 or 6 defeats on the bounce, just not won any games. And once they fell into the relegation zone, the form's just got worse and worse. And they've not been able to pull themselves out of it. So they're already relegated. We also have Rotherham already relegated. They're 22nd, but Port Vale not gone yet. They have those games in hand. Rotherham down after they had to avoid defeat last night. They couldn't do that. They're down now as well. So again, they've had a bit of a collapse over recent years as well. I wouldn't have expected Rotherham to go down at the start of the season, but well, here we are. And yeah, it's just not happened for them this season at all. I'm not sure what's gone wrong. They gone through different managers. It just hasn't worked out, and they've good team as well. I mean, it wasn't long ago they was in the Championship. They survived in the Championship only 4 years ago. 3 years ago as well, so things really have derailed there quickly. I'm not really sure how it's gone so wrong so quickly, but it has. They were poor last season, but nowhere near this bad, and I thought they would come back a bit this season, but it's gone the other way. And they had that good run a little while ago, looked like it's putting clear of it, but then it's just gone the other way again. They just fell back down into it, and with Newham for a few weeks there, gone really, but last night was the night it was confirmed. Port Vale probably will go, to be honest, the 23rd. The games in hand give them a slim fighting chance, but however, they had to win against Barnsley last night, really. Only a draw, not really enough. I mean, they're not gone yet, but if they had won last night, there was a chance, and they kept their hopes going with that win against Rotherham last week, but not gone yet, but I think they are. I think the only team that's in the relegation zone that I think could maybe survive is Exeter. And I think they could still do it, Exeter. You've got AFC Wimbledon 20th. Their form has fallen off a cliff in the second half of the season. They started the season so well, but the second half of the season has been very, very tough for them. And I think between them and Exeter, I still think it could be very, very tight. I still think if there's one twist down at the bottom, it could be maybe AFC Wimbledon going instead of Exeter, because Exeter have shown some fight. They've shown up in the Devon derby, got the draw against Plymouth. They've picked up a few results recently, and they got the win as well they're just starting to show a bit of fight, and I think they've given themselves a fighting chance here. Just when it looked like the form were completely gone and they were gone completely, they have kept themselves in this fight. Blackpool are not completely out of trouble yet. You would think they'd have enough. You'd think if anyone goes down, could well be Wimbledon, but if anyone's to go down instead of Exeter, but is still to play for there. I'm thinking very much sort of 5-team battle for 6th place at this point, and the other thing in this league is maybe between Exeter and Wimbledon for safety. At this point, that's what it's looking like in League One. It's very much taking shape now, but still could completely turn on its head in terms of them positions. We've got no idea what the playoff matchups will look like, and still can't count Exeter out yet. They've given themselves a very decent chance still, I feel. So that's where it's at the moment.